Let's go back to New York City on the Bob and Tom Show. Tom Griswold, hello.
Hey, I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Say something, chick.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear them.
Well, Tom, I'll tell you right now.
Once again, this is the Bob and Tom Show, coming to you from the mobile Ncaa Auto Parts Studios.
Tom can't hear what
New
I'm
York
saying.
City.
No, apparently not.
I'm
Just
Tom
me and
Griswold.
Roy Wood Jr.
Oh, wait a minute. Roy might talk.
We can't hear you guys, or we.
I'm a
can't
pompous
hear anything.
windbag.
Let's have a quick conversation and see what's going on. We'll figure this out. Roy, there we go. There we go.
We can do
You can
audio
hear us
commentary while Tom talks.
We're back.
Oh.
We're back. Thank you very much, Michael,
hey.
our engineer here at the CBS studio. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I probably
We made no fun of you.
No,
We
we
didn't talk like you.
We sat back silently, respectfully.
That's exactly right.
There's no mocking happening.
I need to explain something to our guest. First of all, he is the great comedian Roy Wood Jr., a friend of the show for some 20 years. Roy is now at the Daily Show, of course, as a correspondent. But Roy is also going to be doing some stand-up. Great show coming to Lexington, Kentucky, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And that'll be at Comedy Off-Broadway coming up Friday and Saturday. Roy is a longtime sports fan. So we were talking about a big story in the news today. Paul Pierce, years ago, famously, what did you call it? He was wheelchaired off the court. Then
It's known as the wheelchair game, and this is interesting because I just happened to watch the new documentary on Showtime about Ron Artest and his problem with mental health, and he and Paul Pierce had many intense battles on, and they showed the highlights from the wheelchair game and how Paul Pierce had been, quote, injured, close quote, and had to be put in a wheelchair and wheeled off the court. Well, apparently, after months of teasing by Jalen Rose and Chauncey Billups on NBA TNT's broadcast, just to name a couple, I'm sure Barkley and Shaq got in there too. Paul Pierce finally admitted that, yes, he wasn't that warrior that we all thought he was, that Willis Reed-like comeback after being injured. He actually asked them to put him in a wheelchair because he'd had a problem in his pants.
He pooped them.
Pooped his pants.
And he was wheeled off the court. Yeah.
Which led to some interesting stories about various people on stage, including Roy Wood Jr., who had to leave mid-show because of a...
35 minutes into a 50-minute contract, my body was just like, you have 43 seconds.
Wow. And then the new word that I learned, you had to go to the Gen Pop. What is it now?
Yeah, the Gen Pop bathroom.
The
That's
Gen
the one
Pop
that
bathroom.
the audience uses because
Gen Pop, yeah, that's the
The
word.
general
Yeah.
population.
Yeah.
Wow.
Quality Club lets comedians take a speed deuce separate and apart
Yes.
from the paying customers.
That's exactly right.
So I just got a text from a comedian friend of mine, Rob Haney, and he said he was at a show once, and the headliner pooped himself on stage. When he ended his show, he backed up against the brick wall and walked off sideways.
Oh.
That is bad.
I bet you he still sold his merch, though.
Well, not the one shirt.
Yeah. You got to sell those T-shirts. Roy Wood Jr. will be not pooping on stage as he heads out on his tour. I mentioned Lexington coming up this weekend. Then it's West Hampton Beach, New York, Friday the 21st. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, June 29th. It's a Saturday. Jacksonville, Florida, July 11th through the 13th. And then St. Louis at the famous Funny Bone, July 19th and 20th. And I bring up St. Louis because Roy's a big sports fan. However, hockey not really in your sphere of interest.
You know what the problem is? The first hockey game, is it a match, Josh, or
A game.
fixture?
Yeah, game. Just
Hockey
a game.
Yeah, it's a game.
Okay, so the first hockey game I went to was Game 3 of the Stanley Cup, Blackhawks Bruins with Steve Byrne. So when your first ever exposure to a game is championship level excitement,
Yes.
it's all downhill. I should have started with college hockey.
Now, Josh is from St. Louis, and as a gift for Josh, I have purchased tickets for Josh and his brothers. However, I tried to buy them, or Josh tried to buy them with my credit card yesterday, and it didn't work, so he had to buy them, and I promised I would reimburse him. But today I added the caveat. I'll reimburse him when or if the Blues win. So the cheering should be a lot more loud. From
What are they up? 2-1 right now?
Tied, right?
Yeah, tied 2-2. So if they take it, if they steal a game tonight in Boston, then they're
could wrap it up Sunday, and Josh could be there to see it.
Yeah.
Live and in person.
This is my Cubs World Series, Roy.
Oh, perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Perfect analogy.
And Roy, a big Cubs fan, even though you're from Birmingham, Alabama.
They came on cable.
Came on cable. Those days are gone, but there was a time when the only way you could watch would if you had cable. That was
you could have a favorite team, but you weren't going to see them till they played the Cubs or the Braves.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
You can root for whoever you want, but wait patiently for them to play the Braves. And I couldn't watch the Braves because they came on at night, and my dad was a hater, and he wouldn't give up the remote because Hunter is coming on.
The fabulous Fred Dreyer in Hunter.
It's a man in a blazer. It's a white man and a white lady fighting crime. With no seatbelt. You ever notice old 80s car chases? No seatbelts. Nobody's flying around the car at all.
Yeah.
Just core strength.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, now they make a point. I think they probably have someone on the set to make sure that no matter what the situation, even though they're fleeing the bank, they buckled up.
Yep.
That's a very, very good point. I want to say hi to everybody back home. We have Chick McGee, of course, as you can hear.
Hey, man.
At the Ncaa Sports Desk. Christy Lee, I hear her in there. She
I'm
is
here.
at the Navy Federal Credit Union News Desk. Mr. Pat Godwin is still there?
Pat
Well,
is in the green room awaiting
Yeah.
instruction.
He didn't know what he was supposed to do. You said 7:20. He was out.
Okay, well, I knew he was.
Plus, he's a little under the weather. Remember 8:05 Eastern Daylight Time last night? He was
got
stricken
sick.
with his cold.
Okay, all right,
Remember that.
maybe he can write a song about that. Now, Ace Cosby is our engineer.
Hello, friends.
Hello, Ace. It's always good, a pleasure to speak with you, and hope everything is going well. We are looking forward to the Ace Cosby joke of the day. We're on this.
Josh
end,
Arnold's here too.
We talked.
I mentioned that Josh tried to use my
Unfortunately.
credit card.
Oh, that's
Doesn't
right.
count, yeah.
Oh, so it doesn't count. You don't get
Towards
another
the $40,
$40.
no.
Now let's see if we can have. What do you think the tickets cost? Nosebleeders for the Stanley Cup playoffs in St. Louis for 4 tickets. Do you want to give me a guess on the price here?
For a non-clinching playoff game
But still, Stanley Cup finals.
in a hockey, is Boston one of the original 6? Is that a blue blood? Yeah. All right. So 500. 500. We going
Josh.
ticket? We going markup or we going regular face value?
Resale.
The resale. What do you think it is?
Oh, 800. 800 for nosebleed.
Close.
Yeah, a little over 9.
Well, that's a damn good guess. 800.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And in fact, if they lose tonight, that's probably what they'll be tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, you should
Because
have
it
waited
won't
a day.
it won't be clinching. But if they win tonight, it could be triple that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, clinching. Clenching is what Paul Pierce forgot to do.
You know, something just dawned on me.
What's that?
Yin and yang of life. If Boston wins tonight,
Yeah.
and then Boston could win the championship Sunday night
Oh, yeah. It could be an evening.
in St. Louis.
It could be a night of pure heartbreak.
And all of a sudden, Josh goes from seeing his Blues win the championship to seeing his Blues lose the championship.
Absolutely.
Live and in person.
the thing about this is Tom will be thrilled
set
either
this-
way.
Yeah, Tom's going to be thrilled. Well, you know what? No, I think he's going to be thrilled.
More so if I have to watch them
More
lose.
so if you have to sit there and the equivalent of sports waterboarding, watching your favorite team getting beaten into submission.
Not true.
I saw the Dodgers clinch the pennant over the Cubs in 2017.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like being at the casino. You know the feeling when you're walking out the casino broke?
yeah.
You know, why did I spend all of that money?
Yep.
So stupid. I should have left earlier.
Yep.
Well, Josh gets to have a nice reunion with his brothers.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah, there'll be that. A nice family time between brothers. They all appreciate it.
I'll be getting plenty of audio from that night, regardless what happens.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, good. We're looking forward to it. We'll wish you the best. And the other game it's tonight, right? Or is
Yes,
it-
sir. In Boston.
Okay. I'm having trouble keeping track. We got so much going
That's
on.
a short train ride for you. You should go up there tonight,
Yeah,
Tom.
go up there and see the
So
Brews.
expensive.
See the bees.
Yeah.
Well, getting up at 2 a.m. I think by the time I got back here, the show'd be over for the next day. So we're going to hang out in New York City today and have a great time. Once again, we're hanging with Roy Wood Jr. from The
$900,
Daily
that's
Show.
900 is the cheapest I can find.
Yeah, I got the cheapest I
Cheapest.
could find. I didn't bilk Tom out
I
of any
mean,
extra.
I was shocked when you said that. And
I
you said
would-
you were nosebleed. I was like, what?
I would have, well, it's cheap, $2,800. $28 a ticket.
They're $15,000. There's
Yeah.
two tickets.
The glass beaters?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Down there by the glass.
Right.
Would you say that the NHL has the most difficult names to pronounce of any sport, or would that be tennis? What do you think?
Difficult city names, yeah, but like the mascots.
I mean, like the
Teams,
players.
players.
Sure, yeah, a lot of
yeah.
In tennis, there are only a handful that get to the elite level, so you can learn Djokovic.
a lot of
et
Russian,
cetera.
a lot of Eastern
NHL
Europe,
got too many Z's and Y's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ks.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
a lot of consonants.
Like
Yeah.
Malkin. What was the one from the one I always had trouble with? Towes. The guy who played for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, it's actually pronounced Taves, which is interesting.
Yeah, Towes, but pronounced Tay.
Yeah, but hey, listen, let's not get internationally critical when we have Mike Krzyzewski. You show me how you get. You show me how you get Krzyzewski out of that, okay?
Let's not forget
That's
the
like
fabulous,
that singer Sade. No, it's Sade.
the fabulous Patrick Waugh, the goaltender.
Sure.
Is spelled R-O-Y. Roy.
It's just Roy.
Yeah.
Patrick Waugh. That's how you
Waugh?
I am
Waugh.
French.
But baseball has always had, even when I was a little kid, there were so many beautiful names, especially from the world of Hispanic cultures. Because many years ago, there were always so many Dominicans and Venezuelans playing the game of baseball. Always some beautiful names, very poetic.
Yeah, it's almost, especially as a kid growing up in Alabama, that was my first exposure to any other culture outside of black and white. Because, Birmingham in the 80s, just black people and white people for the most part.
Yeah.
And you'd hear all these beautiful, like Domingo Ramos,
Yeah.
who was like a third baseman. He's either a third baseman or a catcher.
And I can remember they would go, Martinez. They would.
Oh, right.
Martinez. Like they were
Pedro Martinez?
Yeah, like they were dry cleaning. Pedro Martinez, of course, the developer of Martinizing.
And those are some great. Fernando.
Roberto Alomar.
Yes. Yeah.
And now,
Fernando Venezuela.
Moises Alou.
Oh, those are perfect.
and of course, you like Moises Alou because
He is the Moises of all the Alous.
Of course he is. Yes.
He's damp all the time. And, sorry.
I love that joke. Now,
Where was Andres Galarraga from?
Ooh.
He's I want to say South America somewhere.
and now you've got some significant Japanese players. So there's
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
But I would think for the NHL it would be the most difficult for the announcers because the action is so fast.
Venezuela.
Don't you think? It would be the toughest because at least in baseball you've got 5 minutes while the guy warms up and grabs his balls to figure out how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
You can Google him and figure it all out.
Yeah.
In
Like,
hockey, it's got to be.
well, they spend a lot of time talking to them, and I'm sure they just make sure they get the names right. Galarraga was Venezuelan.
Yeah, hockey moves so fast.
It's incredible.
And it creates across the blue line. Tays is coming across the mountain. Oh, my goodness.
Run it back and they reset, and that'll be offside. Now,
It's probably even faster than soccer, wouldn't you think? When it
Yes.
comes to-
Yeah, absolutely.
comes to being the announcer. I used to have to do the PA announcement for high school football, and I'll tell you what, that was hard to do because I would go down to the visiting sideline and get the correct pronunciation of each player's name. Because if you get it wrong, their mom would climb down from the other side,
Come to the booth to fight you?
come up to the booth and tell you, no, it's Stepanski.
Yo,
Not Stefanski, and I took it very seriously. I wanted to get it right.
if you want to see the laziest play-by-play this week on ESPN3, strictly online, somehow in the office with Ronnie Chang, we've been watching the NCAA high jump track and field championship.
Wow.
I'll watch anything if it's the championship.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what the event is. These kids are running and doing the high jump, and then you just hear a dude go, 6'4".
Oh.
What's his name? What college does he go to? Nothing. It's just a dude, and you assume it's Ohio State because his shirt says Ohio State.
That's hilarious.
You get no information about this person.
Are they there, or are they just
don't
looking
know.
at cameras? Are they sitting in a studio in New York going, who the hell
With
hates?
guesstimates, because there's no graphics coming up on the screen either. There's no music packages. There's no commercial breaks.
Wow.
It's just watching it's like watching some dude hold his cell phone up at a high jump.
This must be.
and it might be that.
Yeah.
This is probably one of those deals where, in order to get the football broadcast, they had to agree to take the track and field.
Probably so.
They send 2 guys out there with cell phones, and then there's a guy in New York occasionally on coffee break who walks in. 6'4".
You guys laugh. They use iPads a lot now.
Yeah,
They really
yep.
do. They shoot a lot of stuff on iPads. I'm not making
We're
that
shooting
up.
a bunch of stuff here right now.
See?
We're going to be throwing up on our various social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, etc. here in the Bob and Tom program. We have Jessica from our staff doing a bunch of stuff, and we did post some pictures of our travels yesterday.
Currently, we have 69 degrees, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Tell them all about it, Josh. Yeah.
Well, I'll lay on my back.
Can't do that.
You, oh.
What do you mean you can't do that?
Ace, the voice of reason.
Hi, it's the Bob and Tom Show here in the Napa Auto Parts Sports. And let's go back to here's some other words. New York City and Tom with our guests. Hello, Tom.
You guys drinking?
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we've been driven to drink.
Welcome back to the mobile Napa Auto Parts remote studios. Actually, we're in the CBS Broadcast Center in New York City. And the very handsome man right over there is Michael Kosta, comedian.
Come on.
Now, a famous,
Come on now, baby.
famous, of course, for defeating John McEnroe in his mind while a teenager. He is, of course, on Comedy Central. And he is one of the correspondents on Comedy Central. He joins us here in New York. And back home, I can hear Josh Arnold getting ready to go to St. Louis for the Blues game against the Bruins on Sunday night.
Man, my brothers and I are so excited. Thank you.
I told Josh I'd buy these tickets for him.
Wow.
And then, so I gave him my credit card.
Yeah.
Then he texted me yesterday and said that they won't take your credit card
that's
because
hilarious.
I'm not you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then he said, will you reimburse me? And I said, of course I'll reimburse you. So Josh bought the tickets, and then I said, I will gladly reimburse him if the Blues win.
Right, exactly right.
So now there's more at stake, you see.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
my
very
mortgage and a few other things.
So these tickets are like $1,000 a piece. Am I getting this right?
Yes.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised you're talking about it. It's a generous gift.
No, but
Yeah.
that isn't the reason I'm talking about it.
No, I know.
And these are crappy seats, and they're $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is a first for St. Louis, man.
I guess.
Yep.
Okay. And then, but so if they have to, they don't have to win tonight, but it'd be nice if they did.
If they did, then there's a chance. Then I'm seeing a game where they could win the cup. They could clinch it right there.
Do they have the actual cup there at the games?
Yes, they will Sunday and Wednesday.
So whoever the guys win, they carry it around on the ice.
Yes.
And they always the channel always cuts to the cup, but before the game is over. So if you're a fan rooting for, it's like the worst thing ever.
Yes.
You're like, it's there, it's right here in the building,
Right.
and then you lose, and it's like, don't ever show me the cup again. As a Red Wings fan, they would always cut to the guy polishing the cup, but
Yes.
it's like 10 minutes left.
Right.
You know, it's like plenty of game is left.
And the Stanley Cup, unlike almost any other trophy, becomes a
gift? Wait, what
no,
is
each player. Am
Yeah.
I correct? Doesn't each player get to keep it for a few days?
Yeah.
Of course, in the summer, and
Yep.
it's been vomited in. And
Oh, yeah.
It's been at the bottom of swimming pools.
Yeah.
It has its own history.
It sure does.
It's always wonderful to see what players choose. You know, some bring the cup to their charity foundation, and some like urinate in the cup and dump it over some stripper's head. So it's like it really you kind of get to know the personality of each player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very. Anyway, I'm so excited for you, Josh. This will be fun.
Thank you. I'm very excited. And thank you.
And you get together with all three of your brothers.
Yeah. It's the Arnold boys are gonna have quite a time.
No, I think the most obvious question is wardrobe.
Yeah, it's big.
What does one wear to? Well, I mean, are you going to wear one of your so-called hockey sweaters?
Still got that credit card?
Yeah.
I haven't decided if I'm gonna be fairly understated and just wear my cap, or if I will wear a sweater as well. Because I'll be wearing shorts. I'm pretty sure I'll be wearing shorts, so I don't know if I want to Kevin Smith it.
Are you gonna use the word cap? Is that what you're going with? You're gonna say my cap?
Well, I've got multiple Blues hats.
There we go.
And some of them are like ball caps, and others are.
Wait, you're going to wear shorts?
Wait a minute. You have a
It's
bucket
freezing.
hat? You have a Blues bucket hat?
Is the game inside or outside?
It's an indoor game, Michael. Yeah.
Fair question.
Yeah, that's a fair question.
No, it's not a fair question.
really
It's
not.
NHL Stanley Cup hockey.
You know, they do a lot of these outdoor winter games.
Yeah,
I
they do
figure-
one. They do
Well,
one a
or
season.
June
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
It'd be a little hard to keep the ice frozen when
Hey,
it's 80.
come on.
I'm sorry, I
poo-poo
thought
a
this was
great
a
idea.
comedy show.
So,
What do you think this is? Beyond the baseline? No.
Josh, why are you going to wear shorts? Won't it be freezing in the arena?
No, I mean, it'll be chilly, but it won't be freezing, and it'll be packed.
You should absolutely Kevin Smith it. The biggest jersey you can find. Make it look like it's a dress instead of
Maybe that's what I'll do.
a sweater.
I'll have it come down to the knees to where people will have to wonder, is that guy naked under that?
That's
Are you
exactly
going to get
right.
there? Are you the guy that does like, hey, I want to watch warm-ups?
No, but
Okay.
I think in this case, my brothers do want to get downtown quite early
Yeah.
because there'll be so many festivities.
Yeah, I went to a blues game this year when I was performing at the Funny Bone, and great, unbelievable place to watch a game. I mean, it was so much fun. But we'll tell you this: tough to get an Uber outside after the game. So think about you may want to leave early, Josh. Leave in the middle of the second.
Yeah,
That's sound advice.
good advice.
I'll be accepting my refund in cash.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
we'll be-
that's good to know. Michael Kosta is, of course, featured now as a correspondent on The Daily Show. Also, you've got some gigs coming up as you hit the road.
Yeah.
You will be in Rochester, New York at the Comedy at the Carlson coming up June 21st and 22nd, and then July 20th and 21st, Arlington, Texas at the Improv. Now, do you spend most of your time here in New York working on The Daily Show?
That's right. Yeah, Monday through Thursday, The Daily Show airs. They're very generous. They let us go on the road and do comedy. It's great. So then the weekends, I go out, do comedy, come back here, do New York. I do spots in the city at night. So I feel like it's a comedy PhD. I know you maybe wouldn't think that about me by hearing some of the words that come out of my mouth. They're not always funny, but I really feel like I'm in it, and it's great. I mean, my coworkers are Roy Wood Jr., Ronnie Chang, Desi Leidick, Jabuki Young White, Dulce Sloan. It's like comedy camp. We're all just hanging out all day talking about, which booker stiffed us 9 years ago for a $25 check. So it's great. It's a lot of fun. I
What
love
kind
it.
of hours do you have in a typical week?
Yeah, I mean, what's hard about it is nobody says show up now and leave now. So you have to be an adult. And you know what comics are bad at? That.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what I'm doing. I said yes to this. I should be at the meeting right now. What am I doing here?
You mean where your paycheck comes
Yeah,
from?
exactly. So there's a morning meeting every day at 10 a.m. where Trevor goes over the news headlines and you kind of pitch jokes. And it's always good to be in that meeting. Now, it's terrifying. These are Emmy award-winning writers, and if you pitch a joke and it doesn't land, I've never felt so small in my life. Look, I'm happy to bomb at Comedy at the Carlson in Rochester, June 21, June 22. Tickets still available. But when you bomb in the room with all your coworkers, you got to hang around all day. It's rough. It's tough. So you really got to think these jokes through. So it's great. It's great fun though. I love doing it. And hey, it's nice to have dental insurance.
Oh, yeah, you have dental.
Don't have to tell you guys.
Wow. Yeah, you do. I don't have dental insurance.
Yeah.
Got a toothache right now.
Yeah.
Got a breath that could knock over a rhino. Something's going on in my
I
mouth.
think we can smell it here.
Sorry,
I'm not
I
going to say
It's all
anything.
right. No
keep getting
problem.
reminded by my 6-year-old daughter.
And my parents live in New York.
I didn't know
my
that.
parents, of course. Why would you know that? But I just realized, why would Tom know where my parents live? My parents, we grew up very middle class. Ann Arbor, Michigan. We had everything we needed. We weren't rich. We weren't poor. I remember one year my dad told me I couldn't go to soccer camp because we didn't have enough money. Okay, fine. So then 6 years ago, my parents retire to New York City. Columbus Circle, right up the street, Tom.
Wow, that's expensive,
Three-bedroom
property.
apartment.
Oh, nice.
They got a doorman.
Wow.
I walked in. I said, "What the hell is this? I can't go to soccer camp in 1996, and you got a pool." Anyway, so I live with my parents. First 6 months I lived in New York. I lived with my parents. I'm 38 years old, correspond on The Daily Show, and I slept in a twin bed at my parents' house. That is absolutely the truth.
Wow.
Well, good for you.
And you know what? It was nice.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Nice. 29 with your parents, something went wrong. 39 is nice.
Were you
Yeah,
married?
Mom, make coffee.
Were you married at the time?
Yeah. My poor wife, she would come visit and go, "What the hell are you doing here?" I go, "I'm saving us money, baby." So I can go drinking on the weekends when you're gone.
So how many gigs are you doing on the weekends?
I probably once a month. I mean,
Do you remember your act?
Yeah, I do. That's a very good question.
Wow.
You get up there and
it's a good question. It really is a good question because no other time throughout the month am I doing an hour. I'm doing 15-minute spots in the city, and New York comedy is a little different than comedy other places in the country. So there's this thing called the voice recorder, which I record my sets and I can listen to, and it does help me very much. But one thing that's nice about having a TV day job is I can be more picky about the road. You guys have known me and let me come on your show for 10 years. I mean, there have been some years where all I'm doing is road comedy. It's the only way you can pay the rent. So it is a little bit different for me to not be running an hour all the time. But I just am more selective. And let me tell you what, these jokes, they still crush.
Yeah.
what was the first joke when you were first starting as a comedian?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first joke that actually landed?
I remember the first joke I ever told, and that isn't to answer your question.
Okay.
It did not land.
Can you share it with us?
My first joke I ever told, I thought this was brilliant. And I still do. I don't know what happened. I wanted the host, it was a 2-part joke. I wanted the host to bring me up by saying, this next comic actually has a black belt. This is so stupid. And then I went up on a stage and I said, yeah, black belt in crotch karate. And then I went around the room hi-ya karateing people with my crotch. Why wouldn't that kill? Hi-ya! Hi-ya! With my crotch. Hi-ya! Isn't that such a dumb rookie comic to think I can set up through the host and then, anyway. So that was...
Wow.
The first joke that landed was 14 years later. I used to do a joke about how baseball teams have starting pitchers, mid-relievers, closers, and men have that as well in their masturbation rotation. You have the same people that you start with. Maybe you bring in a mid-reliever,
right,
and there's always 1 or 2 closers. That joke paid my rent for many years.
Well, it's because it's a profound truism.
Exactly. Unlike crotch karate.
There's no arguing with that. And your black belt and crotch karate.
Yeah, exactly
I can see. But wouldn't it be bad if things hadn't gone well and you were selling black belt and crotch karate T-shirts?
Yeah, exactly right.
While middling.
I would wear one proudly.
Yeah.
Would you?
Oh, yes.
Would you?
Yes.
Christy's like, what? Yeah. Wow. I remember one of the first gigs I ever did. The headliner, looking back, it makes me laugh. The headliner was selling merchandise, but he was selling T-shirts with the American flag on them. That was it. And I was like, oh, this must be a joke he does. No, it wasn't. He was just selling T-shirts with American flag on them. Oh, man. And that was my first impression of merch. I just thought you could just sell whatever you wanted. Wow. I didn't know it had to be tied to your act. So,
Michael does one of the fun. I don't know if you do this everywhere you go, but it makes me laugh a lot.
Oh, good.
Whenever I see you, I was middling for you in St. Louis, and you got up on stage and you go, "Hey, give it up for Sean O'Brien, your host, and Josh Arnold, your feature. Now it's my turn. I'm third. That's right. That means I am the funniest. I am the funniest, and therefore I am." So good.
Thank you. And I believe that.
And
I'm not saying you were wrong.
He is not laughing. No.
And after the show, I'll be selling this dishware. And I don't have any jokes about it.
I've worked with some great comics at the St. Louis Funny Bone. You always, it's like so often you go on the road and you hide in the green room so you don't have to hear the middle's act because you don't want to poison your own comedy mind. It's that terrible. And St. Louis Funny Bone is one of the few where you watch the show because everyone's great and it's fun. And then also the waitresses and the staff are also funny too, but they usually just bust your balls.
Yeah.
But you know what? I didn't come here to push them.
No, you didn't.
No. They don't know cross karate.
Yeah.
All right.
We need to, next time he shows up in our studios, we'll have to have a crotch karate T-shirt.
Yeah. My sister's 14 years sober, I think, from that night. So that just that shows you how bad the joke was. It drove my sister to sobriety.